Morning world, welcome to Sunday 3rd of October. We've got to do a bit of espionage today, a little bit of research. Right, as per my normal Sundays, I'm off to my parents to see my dad, make sure he's okay and nothing he's doing. What was that? Hang on, there's something on the road down here. What is that? Fox. Somebody has clouted and killed a fox on the road. Right, well, one less I suppose. I didn't see if it was a dog or a vixen. Where was I? Oh yeah, I'm off to my dad's for the normal Sunday pilgrimage to make sure everything's okay. On the way there or on the way back, providing I've got time, I've got to call in to see a mutual friend, Mr. Corlock, the funky farmer, because he has suffered a bit of storm damage on one of his trees. It's a tree that is fairly valuable to him. He doesn't want to lose it. It's been damaged, so he's asked me to go and have a look. And see how much we can save, basically, which I'm happy to do, especially as it's his conker tree. It's a horse chestnut. You may or may not be aware that I have recently challenged Richard to a conker fight. I've had a few questions in the comments since I announced I was going to do this. Obviously, people from abroad do not know what a conker fight is, so I'll briefly explain it to you on my way over. Conkers are the hard seed of a horse chestnut tree. So most people will know what a horse chestnut is. Basically, horse chestnut grows, big tree, palmate leaves, white candle flowers or pink, or even yellow sometimes. But indigenous to this country, big tree. Big stately tree. Anyway, it produces conkers, that is the seed pods. So inside the little prickly case that you see on the trees is a conker. Now, years and years ago, it was a friendly schoolyard competition that the lads, sometimes the girls as well, would go and collect conkers. They'd pick them up off the floor, or they'd throw whatever they could find into the trees, or climb into the trees to knock the conkers down. And the idea is that you would put a hole in your conker, preferably drill it. If you didn't have a drill, it was a skewer, but it was always better to drill it. Put a shoelace through it, or a bit of string, usually sort of 14, 15 inches long, and go to school with a pocket full of conkers on strings, and you'd have a competition. And basically, all it is one person would hold their conker up on the end of a bit of string, and the opponent would use the string and their hand and basically smack the opposition's conker as hard as you can. And you take turns. You take turns smacking the other person's conker until one or the other conker was destroyed. And the winner was the one with the conker that was left intact. So, and sometimes you get champion conkers, a conker that would win multiple fights. So usually you'd be looking at them with a bit of a frown because some people used to cheat. Apparently soaking them in vinegar and stuff like that would, that's just a bit of cardboard, can harden the shells. I'm not always sure if hardening the shells helped or not, but there were all these strategies that people would have passed down by generations of previous conker players, where what you could do to make your conker last longer than someone else's. I'm sure comments will come up on the video underneath here in the comments box below on some of the strategies that the kids had, and many people my age will remember this, and older, they'll all remember this as what we used to do as kids. This is before mobile phones and Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all that. We would go and find proper earthy things to go and do to entertain each other. Sadly, not long after my school days, conker playing was kind of banished from the schoolyard because it was dangerous. So the Health and Safety Brigade would say, no, there'd be too many kids going to the doctors or hospital with a broken finger or badly bruised knuckles, or a shard had come off and clattered somebody in the eye perhaps, or whatever else, and it was deemed as far too dangerous for kids to play conkers. Apparently it's much safer for youngsters now to go on the internet and look at things they shouldn't be looking at on the internet. That's okay, that's safer. But smacking someone else's conker, ooh, little darling might get hurt. Anyway, I reckon we should start a campaign to bring back the conkers, and the Health and Safety Brigade will hate me for that. Oh, you can't do that, we banished it for a good reason. Never hurt me. I never saw anybody go to hospital for a conker fight. Honestly, what's the world coming to? So yes, I have challenged Richard to a conker fight. He has happily agreed. As of yet, the conkers are still a bit immature, a bit white and a bit too soft. We need them to mature and harden up. I've only got one conker tree actually on the farm. Well, no, that's not true. Two. I've got a red one and a white one, but they're both quite immature trees. They're small trees, and really and truly, you want conkers from a bigger tree that's more mature, like the one I'm going to go and look at for Richard. See, it'd be pointless nicking any of his conkers, because then I'd be competing his conkers against his conkers. Right. Okay. Well, I think maybe you've got the gist. I think this is, in my opinion, this is a harmless bit of fun, bit of competition. I think lots of the things that we used to do as kids have now been just forgotten and put aside as, old news, and it's not electronic, and you can't play it with your thumbs. And if you can't play it with your thumbs and your fingers, and it's not worth it. Well, it is. So maybe we'll do conkers, maybe we'll do a bit of stick whittling. That sounds nice and dangerous as well. We can perhaps cut some fingers off. Brilliant. I don't know where they all come from, these ideas. Anyway, right, so I'm off to my dad's, hopefully to see Richard. If I can't see him this morning, I'll have to go back over in the week, but I don't think he's working this afternoon. Because the idea is when I go and see Mr. Cornock, is not just to go and say hello, it's also steal a cup of tea off of him. Or off of his beloved, anyway. So, anyway, we'll see. Roll on the conker fight. Of course, there's another reason for a challenging Richard to a conker fight. There are so many opportunities for some tongue-in-cheek innuendo in this process. And you know that if I get the opportunity, it's going to happen. Something's going to be said that's going to be a little bit close to the mark. So, and I reckon I can drag this thing on for maybe some time. Or maybe I'll get challenged by someone else for a conker fight as well. But, I reckon farmers and the town kids, because the town kids used to do exactly the same. They used to play it in the cities, in the towns, anywhere there was a conker tree. That was it. People would collect conkers and they'd have a fight. And it was all mostly harmless fun. I think the only thing that really got harmed was the conkers. Usually. Come on, you. Here you bed. Mucky footprints. Right, that's that visit done. Father's okay. I'm now going to pop down and knock on the funky farmer's door, see if he's in. I could ring him, but he's literally 350 metres down the road. So he's either there or not. There's the chestnut. probably cleared up what's on the floor. Just got to go and assess the damage now. Here's young Harry. Well, that was most pleasant. Stopped at a cup of tea with Richard and Harry. They're busy building barns for Harry's farmyard. So we set down a few ground rules for the conker challenge. What we can and can't get away with. So I think this is going to be fun. I think it's in everybody's interest that we make this fun. Harmless, painless, well, harmless fun anyway. Right, I'm going home for me lunch. Yes, lunch. So we've both agreed we'll do a pre-competition video on preparation, which would be basically sourcing our conkers, preparing our conkers, and getting ready for the competition. I think it's going to be one evening in a couple of weeks' time because Richard's busy with the milking and the farm and the cattle and stuff like that. So I'll probably come over and see him one evening towards the end of the month, stuff like that, when our conkers are mature enough and big enough that we can actually, see what we're aiming at. Watch this space. You know, I've just driven past a conker tree, and there's a whole load of them in the road. So obviously, trees are shedding. Maybe I ought to go and have a look this afternoon, see if I can find some. I thought it was going to be another 10 days before they're ready, but maybe it's today. Today's the day to go and find some. Go on, just going to have a quick look. It's actually stopped raining. Well, almost stopped raining for a minute. I was just going to check our little red horse chestnut over there. I know I'm banging on about the chestnut and the conker fight, but it's about the most interesting thing going on today, I'm sorry to say. I don't remember seeing an awful lot on there, so I don't think we're going to have a terrific amount of success with this tree. He's still quite well attached. Anything on the floor? Not really. No. I don't think we're going to get much off there this year. And actually, if we've only got a couple of conkers, what I've been tending to do recently is, another one there, is plant them. This is a red horse chestnut. It got damaged when we first planted this tree years and years ago. It got damaged, got chewed by sheep when sheep got in the garden. Has recovered to a point where it should be okay. The old poultry pen or the owl pen is now starting to impact the tree, which is one of the reasons I want to get rid of this. I'd rather keep the tree, although it's not in the best of health. So I think we're going to have to take a wander up Bradley Hill and see if we can grab a couple from up there. But I'm not sure if I'm that keen to walk up for a minute. Mrs. P's just taken my van to go and take her brother his Sunday lunch. And I reckon if I walk up there, I'm going to get wet. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be back in literally 5 minutes and I'll be back. Right. So I'm only taking the van just in case it piddles down rain again. Sun's shining. Mrs. P's got back from her run to her brother's. While it's dry, I'm just going to nip up the road. Do a quick. Oh yeah, you can tell Mrs. P's been in here. Dog bed booster cushion. Go see if I can find a couple of conkers. This definitely reminds me of my childhood. Coming up here doing this. squirrel there. We won't tell Biscuit what she doesn't know. Whatever. Well, it looks like the squirrels have been beating me to it. I don't know do much of that, am I? Right. These marks in here are from the horse chestnut leaf miner, Camerera orodella. So trees have been suffering really badly for the last 10 years with this. This is an insect pest that's come across from southern Europe, probably picked up on a lorry, I expect, carried across the channel. Inside there is a little tiny caterpillar, and when it hatches, comes out as a little tiny little yellow moth, which basically gets on the floor, climbs back up the stem of the tree, and starts the process all over again. So, right, no conkers, or very few conkers. Very few conkers. In fact, I can't see any. This challenge might not get very far. Nothing. All of these casings are all opened. The squirrels have literally taken the lot. Oh, hang on. Found one. It's not a very big one though. Oh, there's one. That's a small one as well. Right, okay. Well, the little one can stay on the floor. I'll keep hunting. Hopefully I'll find something. Hopefully. Slim pickings. There, all I have found is two rather pitiful. He's got a mark in him, that's not going to last very long. Yeah, I may have to widen my search a bit. Well, I've got a funny feeling I'm going to have the same problem up there. We've got our own small conker tree on the side of Pigeon Mead, but as I'm driving past, all I can see there is more empty shells. A lot of weed out here. I've got a neighbour, Mr. Finley's going to come and put some used lambs out here. I haven't really got enough to get in here and decimate this. I want to get this all chewed off and eaten fairly close to the ground, and if it's dry enough, maybe get some muck out up here as well. We reseeded this 2 years ago. Never really did that well. Still got quite a lot of clover, which is the one thing that puts me off spraying it. But yeah, there's also next to the hedges an awful lot of creeping buttercup too. We don't want that, and we don't want you. You, actually, I'll sort you out on the way back down. Right, I'm not holding out a lot of hope here. I reckon the squirrels have pretty much had all of it. All the shells are opened. There was a crop of chestnuts up there, but they've all, pretty much all, been taken. None left. I'll keep looking just in case. That would have been a good one. I reckon that heavy rain and wind we had the other day has basically knocked them all off. And what I don't get now, I'm not going to get. This could be a very, very short challenge. I found one tiddly little thing that 40 years ago would have been laughed out of the playground. Right, drawn a blank on that one then. I've got one more chestnut on the farm. It's only a little one, and the thing is, if the squirrels have had all these, the chances are they've had that one too. Okay, ragwort pulling with no gloves. If you're going to pull a ragwort and you haven't got gloves on, avoid the green fleshy bits. If you can, get in from the very base of the plant and pull in from there, and if you can, do it without squeezing the plant. If you don't squeeze it, you won't get the juice on your skin. That's what you don't want. Just touching it, you're okay. Squeezing it, getting juice out of it, that's what you want to avoid. Right, they can go in the incinerator. Best place for that. Right, we'll go and check my one last chance tree. So if I can't find one there or any there, it's a case of I'm going to have to go elsewhere. So now the damn thing is, I saw a load on the way home from Richard's this morning, but they're literally right next door to his land, and the whole idea is that it's my conker against his conker. It's a bit pointless me going and collecting them from over there, because then it's his conker against his conker. It's not really a competition, is it? Right, battery's half gone. I need to go and find this tree. No, I don't have to find the tree because it's where I left it. In fact, it's where I planted it. This tree was grown by my uncle, Graham. He planted this tree in a pot at the back of his place years ago, and he said to me, "Do you want one of these trees?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll plant it at the farm." And that's what I did. And it's still here. Afternoon, ladies. The girls are breeding ewes, and there's not many of them. We haven't bought any more. I decided not to. You breaking my fence posts again? Oh yeah, another job. Right, so these are our breeding ewes for this year. The ram's going to be coming out to these guys in about 4 to 6 weeks, which means we need to do our vaccinations. So I spoke to Abby earlier. She's going to bring me some Heptivac P, and then probably be next weekend, I expect, we will be vaccinating the girls. Nothing. Nothing on the ground. And nothing up there. I didn't remember seeing much in the way of flower up this tree. It never has a lot of flowers anyway. It's still a young tree, but nothing. Okay. So the other place we used to go horse chestnut collecting was outside my neighbour's, literally outside his house. I probably won't do that because you wonder what on earth I'm playing at, and if I tell him, well, I can already hear what he'll say to me. You're doing what? How old are you? Child. I I couldn't disagree with him, could I? You know, is it childish? Yeah. But then, isn't half the things we do in the world today, to some, childish? You know, I'm too young to get old. Okay, so it looks like it's not going to be a Bradley Farm chestnut that competes in this battle. It might have to be a Stockhill Farm. That's what we call the other farm over at Itchington. We've got the chestnut trees there up behind our big bale silage. I might have to just take a visit over there and grab a couple from there. So Itchington, Tidrington, they're a couple of miles apart. I think it still counts. Couple of fall on the floor. Oh, look at the state of it. The yard hasn't really recovered from me digging holes and trenches across it. I need to put some more stone out here, but I kind of want to do that when it's done, when we're finished. I think it's looking like now we're not going to get the Yorkshire boarding on the little barn this year. I think we're going to have to save some of the pennies from that to help finish off the granny flat. That's gone. It's going to go over budget. I'm not saying it's gone over budget, it's going to go over budget. The Yorkshire boarding on here would be nice to do. I would like to finish it. But the granny flat, I have to do. I've got no choice. I really do have to finish that. So, yeah, compromises will have to be made. We'll get the concrete panels up because they're already ordered. And there's 3 more steel legs to go up. They'll have to go up to put the concrete panels up. They're all measured. I think Tim was ordering the steel this week as well. So like he said, it's not going to take him many minutes to put the steels up. We're going to hang them off of the roof there down and literally plumb them up, concrete them in. We're just gonna, I think it's the case we're gonna just mix the concrete. So I thought we were gonna get a load in, but Tim reckons it's just as easy, we'll mix it ourselves. Well, if that's the case, I'll get a bit more aggregate and I'll have to just do the manhole covers down here and the drains. I'll have to do them by hand as well. Not that it matters, it's, either way it's got to be done. But yeah, I thought we were gonna get a load in. That's not gonna happen. We're gonna do it with a shovel. Again, all this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 concrete panels to go in here. Once they are in, we'll knock off the edge of that lip there. We'll sort out the water down for the side there. We'll sort out the water down the end of there, and we'll basically start backfilling this, level that floor up in there. I'll have to get some stone in for that, I expect. Get it all whacked down hard. I'll have to hire a roller for a couple of days, I think. And then, yeah, look about gates and getting cattle in. If the carries on like this, they want to be in soon. We might just finish this by the skin of our teeth. Right. That's put paid to the ragwort. That'll cure it. For sure.